Hi everyone, welcome to Tidy TV, where I bring the classroom to you. I'm Hannah John, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between your Thesis Advisor, Thesis Chair, and Thesis Reviewer. Stay tuned! This is actually one of the questions that I've received most often for the students who want to pursue a thesis, whether at the master's or PhD level. So I did want to set the record straight and talk about the differences and distinctions that we can make between these three members. A big disclaimer, of course, is that these functions may vary depending on your university or your program, so please be sure to check your guidelines. So before I actually talk about kind of the distinctions between these members, the most important thing, of course, is to begin with an understanding of the foundation of the relationships between you as well as other committee members. The foundation, of course, being that this is about mutual agreement. It's not simply a matter of you choosing a specific member to be a part of your thesis committee. The faculty member also has to agree to invest his or her time and energy into your thesis process. Contrary to popular belief, no faculty member is actually required or compelled to be a part of your thesis committee. In fact, you should be providing a very kind of persuasive rationale for why he or she should be invested in your thesis. So because no one is required to be a member of your thesis committee, please make sure that you establish a kind of productive and healthy working relationship prior to actually reaching out to potential committee members. Okay, with that in mind, why don't we start with the Thesis Advisor? The Thesis Advisor, can I say this? might be the most important member of your thesis committee. This is the person who will probably take the most active, proactive role when it comes to guiding you, not just in terms of big picture items, but also kind of the nitty-gritty details as well. Your thesis advisor will be the primary person you reach out to when it comes to refining your research question, choosing appropriate literature, as well as data and methods, and also when it comes to completing the analysis. So in theory, you will have the most contact with your thesis advisor throughout your thesis process. Oftentimes what students want to do for their thesis advisor is to have someone very well known and renowned in this area to be their advisor. This is great if he or she is able to invest the time and the care to your thesis process as is necessary. But what you might find is that a lot of these important faculty members might also be very busy. So you do want to take into consideration who might be able to invest appropriate time or enough time to make sure that you get from kind of the beginning to the end of the thesis process. So the thesis chair, or the dissertation chair, or the committee chair, is the person who is most responsible for the administrative duties in terms of collecting feedback and evaluations from other committee members, and being able to kind of liaise between the administrative office as well as the student. The thesis chair not only takes care of administrative duties, but also provides feedback as well as evaluations on an individual level for the student throughout the process as well. But when it comes to the thesis advisor as well as the thesis chair, whether you're part of the master's or the PhD program, please note that you're asking the most of these professors when it comes to your thesis. And because you're asking them to put in additional time and invest more kind of energies into your work, please take that into consideration along with potential time constraints of faculty when you actually reach out to potential faculty members. Third, we have the thesis reviewer, and in general, this faculty member is the one who provides a thorough review of your thesis and provides feedback as well as a final evaluation. You might also have interim as well as final evaluation, so this faculty member will also take care of all steps within that process. Aside from that, there are no additional duties for the thesis reviewer other than reviewing and evaluating your thesis, so please also take that into consideration when you're looking at potential committee members. So there are a few important differences between the master's program as well as the PhD program when it comes to writing the thesis. For the master's program, you have 3 members as part of the thesis committee, which would be the thesis advisor, thesis chair, and thesis reviewer. But for the PhD program, you have 5 members, and this would include the thesis advisor, thesis chair, as well as 3 other reviewers. In addition to these differences in terms of function, for the PhD program, you also have to have a mix of internal as well as external committee members. Internal members are those that are part of the university, and external members are those that are outside of the university. Please make sure to check the guidelines to see who qualifies for internal as well as external committee members. For the PhD program, an important distinction is also that you have not only the written thesis, but you have the oral defense of your thesis. This means that all committee members are going to be part of the thesis reviewing process for the written thesis, and then will be part of the final oral or verbal defense of your thesis. As this is a very extensive process that requires a lot of time and effort and investment on the part of your committee members, if you're a PhD student, what would I suggest that you do? Be nice. No, I jest. Fundamentally, what we need you to do as a PhD student, because you're the one who is primarily responsible for finishing both the written thesis as well as successfully defending your thesis in an oral setting, what you can do is, of course, continue to maintain a good working relationship with all of your committee members, and then, of course, to be able to communicate effectively throughout the process. Now, everything I shared with you is kind of theoretical, but you might find that theory is very different from what actually happens in practice. So what I'll do for my next video is I'm going to share some of my own experience about being the dissertation chair for a PhD student who just thankfully successfully completed her dissertation defense. So I'll talk about that in the next video, but until then, until next time here on Tidy TV, bye!